Today in federal court, Russell Laffitte is charged with stealing millions of dollars from clients who he was hired to financially protect. One of his alleged victims came to court today, and our investigative reporter Ann Emerson met up with her after that hearing. And
well, when Elena Spohn was just a little girl, her family was in a tragic car accident, and she and her sister survived. Her mother and her brother did not. The girls were awarded a $5 million settlement, with Alec Murdaugh leading the charge. That's when Elena says she and her sister were turned over to Murdaugh's friend and colleague, Russell Laffitte, to watch over them.
He was trusted for so many years, and really the best way to put it was he was like a father figure to me.
In court, lawyer Ronnie Richter told the judge, as minors, the girls had to ask Laffitte permission to buy things like Christmas gifts or a cell phone. Meanwhile, federal prosecutors say Laffitte used the sisters' settlement money to pay off personal debts and loans, and not only for himself. The girls' lawyer, Eric Bland, told the judge Laffitte conspired with Alec Murdaugh to illegally borrow $1.4 million from the girls' account. Bland has called it Murdaugh and Laffitte's personal slush fund.
I still had conversations with Mr. Laffitte often, so I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. He was very trusted, and it just kind of goes to show that you just can't trust everyone. So even when they're appointed to you to protect your assets and your money.
According to the documents, that money was partially repaid to the sisters when they turned 18, no longer needing Laffitte's services. Money Laffitte allegedly repaid by stealing funds from other clients' settlements.
It was very important for Elena to stand up in court and to let Russ know that this is not going to go unnoticed.
I wanted to show Russell that we are here, and that what was done was wrong, and that we are aware of it. We're not those little girls anymore where we could be taken advantage of, and what's done wrong will always be brought to light, so I wanted him to see that.
Well, Laffitte was already out on a $1 million bond for state charges related to this case and others. Today, he was granted a federal bond of $500,000.
well, a day of reckoning for Alec Murdaugh. The former South Carolina lawyer went in front of a judge today. He's charged with murdering his wife Maggie and son Paul 13 months ago at their family hunting lodge.
ABC News 4 just got the newest mugshot for Alec about half an hour ago. Investigative reporter Ann Emerson had a front row seat for today's bond hearing. So, Ann, what evidence did the prosecution present?
Well, perhaps the most shocking part of the proceedings today was that no evidence was presented at all. Both sides agreeing that sharing evidence right now could possibly taint a future jury pool. Now, what we've seen so far are these indictment charges of double homicide against Alec Murdaugh, and these are charges that Alec Murdaugh vehemently denies.
What say you, Richard Alec Murdaugh? Are you guilty or not guilty of the felonies wherein you stand indicted?
Not guilty.
A gaunt-looking Alec Murdaugh with his head shaved appeared before the court today.
How shall you be tried?
By God and my country.
He consented to no bond, even though prosecutors did not present any evidence supporting the charges. Now Murdaugh's side is pushing for a speedy trial.
Mr. Murdaugh does this for a number of reasons. One, as you've heard, he believes he's innocent. He avers he's innocent. And two, he believes that the killer or killers are still at large.
The state agreed in theory to the aggressive timeline, but certainly not to Murdaugh's innocence.
The state is absolutely in favor. The evidence in this case is substantial, and it all points back to Alec Murdaugh.
Our response to that is he's wrong. And that's why a jury will sit in that jury box.
There's plenty of lawyer horsepower.
That jury box.
Whether it's a fair fight ultimately or not, it'll be fascinating to watch.
No doubt the stakes are high. If this case does go to a jury, it could qualify as a death penalty case and could explain why the state's death penalty expert sat right next to the top prosecutor here today. Here's defense attorney Joe McCulloch.
Subspecialty is death penalty appellate work. He's argued in the United States Supreme Court against Dick Harpootlian. He could be there because there is some contemplation of the death penalty.
You didn't do it. Who did it?
The sides also agreed today on a gag order preventing any more leaks of evidence to the media. Now the judge has a couple of weeks to decide whether or not he's going to put that gag order in place.